judging from the content that I'm being presented on YouTube and adverts alongside, that the Western world in particular, just currently, just in this period, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, are suffering real normalcy bias. I feel this has become normalised almost overnight to a majority of people, that this new way of living is normal already. It's how quickly people will adapt. It's like prisoners who are moved from one block to another. They don't have a choice, they have to adapt. Well, that's a very similar scenario now. There is simply no choice. The choice would be to step out of the limelight, I guess, or step into the limelight and start screaming, in which case you know what's going to happen to you. It's obvious. So the normalcy bias that's crept in, I think, again, we know this comes from the mainstream. The adverts that I'm seeing and hearing are shocking. Social distancing adverts from supermarkets. Sainsbury's, remember to stay 2 meters apart. From Sainsbury's. It's not as if they haven't got the monopoly. If they've got the only supermarket in your area, they've got the whole monopoly, haven't they? Like the supermarkets here. They've got the monopolies now on our lives. If the supermarkets were to close or the stuff starts disappearing off the shelves, what's the other option? Also, if the quality starts going down and down and down, what's the other option? In some nations, this isn't the case, but in Europe, Spain, many nations here, there is no option. You are bound to eat what you have, what you can grow, or what's provided on the shelves in 3 or 4 shops. That's it, 3 or 4 branded shops. I mean, we know that McDonald's drive-thru's still open, Amazon's still open, Google, the internet companies. So we can see the corporations behind this, and we know that government has been overtaken by corporations. This is patronising stuff again. I'm not here to do that. But the normalcy bias, I feel, I'm shocked it took so little time for people to accept that this is the new way of life. An advert from a well-known actor in England played on YouTube, and it was going out is the new, no, was it? You have to excuse me, I'm not very good with adverts. Staying in is the new going out, and is the new normal. And that's how it starts the advert, words to those lines. So I expected it, obviously. It wasn't something that surprised me. It did shock me. That's there was an instant shock, but not a long-term surprise. And bearing in mind the amount of deaths, as I put in the last video, are lower than some other years when there's just been a flu outbreak. The normalcy bias, because of this, they obviously felt that they could do this now. I mean, the series of, if you like, tests on whether the public will accept something started with 9/11, went to 7/7, went to things like the Boston bombing, the Manchester Arena, Jimmy Savile, the politicians, 76 named politicians abusing children, the invasion of Syria and our part in that, Yemen and our part in supplying the weapons to Saudi Arabia. And they probably looked at the public and went, do you know what? We can do anything now. They just won't care. And it's not that they won't care that who the people are doing it. They don't care about themselves anymore. So I think the normalcy bias just shows a lack of care and self-respect that people have. And that, of course, has been programmed into them. So normalcy bias at the moment, obviously it can't last, but there is definitely, to me, this lull, this little kind of grey depression of normalcy bias, where people are just trying to get on with it, and it's really not good enough, because, as you know, the longer that continues, that will stick, and that will become the new way of life. We will all be Palestinian. Cheers.